time, and I want you to just do less and do it better. And that's the goal of this masterclass. Okay. So if you're the trader that's sort of, you know, always looking for something that's not there, you're always staring at charts and, you think you're doing something productive, but you're really not. You might believe that the more trades you take, the more money you'll make, when in fact, it's the complete opposite. What happens when you look at the charts for too long is you start to get FOMO, because you start to, see something, you're like, oh, this might break out, and then it breaks out, and then you don't enter, and then it moves. So you enter, and then it comes back against you, and you get stopped out. And so if you're bored and you're staring at charts and you get FOMO, I can tell you from lived experience, this is a recipe for disaster. The harsh reality about trading is that patience pays. So if you're naturally a very impatient person, you need to do things in your external life, so away from the charts, that require patience so you can start to build that muscle. Because the truth is, A+ setups that make you a lot of money in a short period of time, that you can get in and out in 10 minutes and replace your week's wage, they're rare. They don't happen every single day. They don't have multiple opportunities every day. Okay, maybe once or twice a week, but your job is to wait. Your job is not to chase. And a lot of people forget the fact that no trade is still a trade. Being in cash is still a position. So if you're not trading because you're looking at the charts and you don't have a full probability bucket or certain non-negotiable rules met, well, that's fine. You did your job for the day. You don't need to think that you didn't do your job because you didn't make money. Okay? You did your job for the day because most of your time should be spent doing nothing, and the market doesn't care about your bills. So the 80% patience is really just watching, preparing, and thinking. That's what it comes down to. The other 20% of the time is broken between your buys and your sells. Clean setups, discipline, probabilities, and process. That's what professionals actually do. Okay? It's boring, but it's profitable. This is the difference. If you're an amateur, your focus is making money. If you're a professional, your focus is process. When you're an amateur, your emotions are, really excited when you're making money or really fearful when you're losing it. If you're a professional like me, you guys see me, you guys have seen me make 10K, you guys have seen me lose 10K, and I have the same emotions, and I'm very flatline. We're neutral, right? We know the market's not out to get us. We know that we can't control the market, and we know the market can do anything at any time, and the only thing that we can control is our risk. A lot of amateurs think about the next trade. I just lost that one. I'm going to double down on the next one and risk twice my account. Okay, a professional thinks about the next 1,000 trades or the next 100 trades. A lot of amateurs track their P&L per trade, and they think because they had one trade they made $2,000 or $3,000 is they're a really good trader. But what we need to really track is, did I manage my risk? Because if you made $3,000 but you risked 10% of your account, did you follow your process? Are you getting dopamine and wiring your brain to be rewarded for bad habits? Is that going to cost you more money in the long run? These are the things I'm trying to train out of you or make you conscious of. When you lose money, a lot of the time, amateurs are very upset. They take it personal. And that's why they feel the need to revenge trade, because they feel like the market just took their week's wage off them. That motherfucker, I'm going to get that back. And as soon as I'm back at break even, I'm not going to trade again. You start to tell yourself these things. Whereas a professional, when we take a loss, when we have failure, whether that's a losing trade, a losing day, or a losing week, or a losing month, and we have them, and I have them, right? But we say, what can we learn from it? What are the lessons? What are the tuition fees I'm going to take from this? How am I going to come back better, bigger, and stronger, right? Not taking it personal. So patience is what will, is really the skill that you need to develop if you want to be a profitable trader, because we know that 80% of the time, that's what we need to be doing. But discipline is the muscle that you need to build so that you don't get excited and that you just stay neutral, right? Because I want you to think of not just how much money can I make, But like your job, just shift. If you just completely remove the shift away from how much money am I going to make or how much money can I make to only worrying about fucking saving your money and making sure you don't lose it, that will do more in the long run in terms of building the right habits. So, in other words, winners protect capital. We don't just chase gains for the sake of it. All right. And because of this, trading when done properly is fucking boring. Fit that glove, like get into that mindset. Remember that it's all about patience. Remember that that's what you need to work on. Build the discipline muscle. If you're not disciplined in your trading, go outside, external, and do something disciplined. Maybe that's cutting out, sugar. Maybe it's cutting out takeaway. Maybe it's going to the gym once a week. Maybe it's going to the gym once a day. Everyone's at a different state in their life, depending on what you're doing. But you need to do something that's disciplined. For me, it's like it's saunas, it's cold showers, it's doing stuff that is really hard. But I know when I do it, I feel good, and it gives me the discipline and builds the muscle, the mind-muscle connection with that discipline, so that when I come to the markets, I'm already disciplined with my trading because everything else I've done is discipline. And guess what? When I'm not disciplined in my external life, when I don't train, when I don't look after myself, when I don't do things that require discipline, when I don't have cold showers, when I don't have saunas every day or every other day, when I don't do all the things that require discipline and continually build that muscle, that's when the data tells me I have the worst performance. That's when I enter early. That's when I don't wait for confirmation. That's when I FOMO in. That's when I lose money. And so I'm just telling you from lived experience so that you can learn from my mistakes and relate to them yourself, but not just relate to them, like be conscious of it and then bring it to the surface and learn from it.